We're going to be looking at the best Prem strikers you can physically get in FIFA currently. Some of them could do with an upgrade, some of them are already at their peak. There is no particular order to this. We have got a few different kind of topics on each of the players, and a couple of them are joined together. Harry Kewell just so happens to be number one on the list. Again, a player that, like a lot of the World Cup heroes, could do with a little bit of an upgrade. He's 88 rated, one of the first heroes I used with his left wing version, and definitely comes in as a better striker than a lot of the players we've currently got. In terms of this hero, he again could do with over a 90 now, as we are approaching the kind of later stages of the game. Even though we've still got a massive team of the season to go, FUT birthday, captains, shapeshifters once more, and then obviously the next one, road to the final. The World Cup heroes, or the heroes in general, could now do with a little bit of a shake-up again. Whether we see any of that during road to the final is very unlikely. No new icons or obviously heroes. I can imagine it potentially comes in the next promo, or the promo after that maybe. Outside of the FUT 4 Kewell though, again stat-wise, looking very good for the time that he was released, probably what, 2-3 months ago now. He has definitely done very well for that side of stuff, but now, like a lot of informs, out of position, kind of really basic starter strikers now, we definitely could see that next level increasing. Then we move on to one of the best SBCs we've seen in Theo Walcott, a dangerous man that was meant to just be a super sub, but nobody got the memo, and we're seeing him in a lot of starting teams, and he's just absolute filth. His pace is unbelievable, doesn't quite have the 4-4, but a 4-3 will definitely do for this man, as he is very much just a souped up Adama / Dan James, who are somewhere on this list. But Theo, again, like a lot of players, once he first comes out, they do seem to just be absolute fire, and then potentially gets nerfed. We never know. But Theo is a fantastic player. Doesn't necessarily always get the bag against me, but most definitely does cause some issues. So in the next spot, as we saw, we have two left wingers in Rashford and Sonny Baby, who are most definitely, for me, better off as strikers a lot of the time.
Are you tired of using players like this? I would much rather have teams more like this. Then I recommend going over to skycoach.gg for all of your coaching and coins needs. They are cheap, fast and reliable, but at the checkout make sure you are using code JT11 for a discount on your orders. Back to the video.
I feel like at the moment, if we're looking at Rashford, I actually prefer him as a left wing personally, even though his striking ability is still very good. I feel like the finishing, the shooting in general, obviously the sprint speed just naturally falls more to Son in my opinion, as well as having obviously that 5-star weak foot for him. Both of them, I believe, have some traits, only power, free kick and flair on Rashford, and we've got solid player, finesse and team player on our man Son. Normally with Son as well, it's a shapeshifter / team of the season that we start to see a striker Son version. Whether we see that this year will be down to kind of the whole season of where he kind of finishes off playing. But again, both with very, very top end stats across the board. It is only a slight difference between a few of them, mainly coming in at the strength and physical side for Rashford, whereas obviously Son has the more finishing, a little bit more on, where is it? I'm just trying to think. Yeah, there it is. On the composure, I knew there was one other big one, which will always be a massive, massive bonus. 92 compared to 80 is a huge difference. That you don't get that. You can't do any chemistry styles or anything for that, and that's why Son will always be more crucial when it comes to going through on goal, whereas Rashford definitely could do with another upgrade, even though we've only got the player of the month. And to be honest, I would probably rather go with a player of the month than put in so much money into a card with 80 composure. No matter if you're Messi and Ronaldo, you're Rashford, or you're just Dave from down the road, if you've only got 80 composure, at this point of the game, you definitely need a little bit more. He has to be 90 pluses in every other category for that really to stand. And we see that in another card in a little while. Then we go on to Ivan Toney. Really here mainly because he's not going to be top Prem strikers. It's just not going to happen. But in terms of if we could get an upgrade, we've seen it with Ibra. We've seen it with Giroud. Benzema a little bit, but now he's got a team of the year that just blows past that. Immobile normally gets a card like it. We see them bigger strikers who are 6'1", 6'2", and above. Maybe doesn't have the greatest amount of agility balance, but they get a super juice, and it just makes them this naturally very, very good card. And Ivan Toney could definitely do with a bit of that. We saw an 88, an 89 Toney with a big increase on obviously his agility balance. Maybe got a bit more on that shot power. We're looking at a very, very nice striker there. Whether he does it is the next question. This card is one of the first promo cards you could possibly get in the game from Rule Breakers, so it'll be interesting to see if we do manage to get another one soon. Same with Jesus, again a one to watch. We do have technically an 89 right wing, but I am physically going for mainly strikers, or at least a striker that can have alternatives. If he is a can but can play striker as an alternative, or obviously is more of a centre forward but can't necessarily go striker, then that is what we're counting. With his Winter Wildcard 89, it is right wing or right mid, no striker in it. Even though he is a little bit more of an upgrade there, it would be really nice to see a striker version of him, which would do really well. 5'9", you know his agility balance would come in absolute clutch up front, a little bit more on that strength, get a bit more finishing on the go, bit more composure, and you've got yourself a very nice Brazilian striker. We also have another option of that later on as well. Then we go on to, like we said with Walcott, Theo Walcott, Dan James, and Adama Traore. All very similar, very, very quick. Shooting wise is good. I feel like Dan James actually comes off really well there, but the composure is just not there for these two. With Theo, it was a little bit higher at 86. That's absolutely perfect. Like that 85 and above right now, I think is a nice point. Then when we get into FUT birthday team in a season, it raises itself up again. We're looking at like 88, 89 to 90 if we can. And then once we get to footies, you just want the best stats you possibly can get, because 80 and under, especially for Dan James there, is going to be a dramatical difference compared to somebody with 86, 90 composure. When you're starting to see kind of more than a plus 10 difference in the position of obviously composure being 74 or say 88, it's a plus 14 difference. Even though, yes, there will be times where Dan James runs down the byline, cracks one in with his left foot, and it just works. But I'd say at least 50% of the time there, you're going to find a better output from someone with better composure if you blindly kind of got the same stats, but you added that composure. It's just an interesting one to have a look at. But Dan James is only coming in at 70,000 coins, which makes him a very, very cheap alternative. Adama, I believe at this point, is about 140. Still does very well. And to be honest, I've absolutely loved Adama being a super sub for me in FUT Champs. Just absolutely obliterates the defence when it comes into the second half, or maybe even extra time if I'm feeling a little bit lucky, then I'm going to go into it, because he just has absolutely bags about of pace, to be honest. Then we have Nunez, very much like Jesus and obviously Ivan Toney. To be honest, had the better start than obviously the other two. I feel like once we had that lengthy meta come through, we hit the ground running with him. Gold Haaland, gold Nunez. That was the upfront capabilities, and it just worked an absolute treat. A month and a half goes in, and they changed the lengthy meta, which meant Nunez took a little bit of a kind of dive. To be honest, didn't take as much as I thought he would be, with obviously being only, I think it was an 84, an 82 card at the time, something really low. I can't remember what his gold is, but his inform, his one to watch, managed to get a couple of upgrades, which is meaning he is an 87 now. Now we're into the point of past team of the year. We could now really want to see a bigger upgrade for this card, at least 89 and above, and most definitely will put in a shift for you. His pace is just absolutely fantastic for someone who's 6'1". Could do with a skill move upgrade and weak foot, maybe a FUT birthday potential there. I feel like that would be a really, really top end card to get at such a later stage of the game. Then we move on to Robbie Keane, who I feel like I definitely judge him far too harshly, and it's mainly to do with the price of the SBC. But if I take that completely out and say, you know what, he's not an SBC player. He is, if I was to buy him right now, would he be worth it? And it is physically impossible, because we can't go back and do this SBC. Maybe later on in the game we might see another Robbie Keane, which obviously overtakes this one. But he is a cracking card. He's got great pace. If we take him off stat value, pace is good, shooting's fantastic, great amount of dribbling, composure, the whole lot there. Stamina's good, little bit of physicality, nothing too crazy. And we've got leadership and finesse as the two traits. Even though he was expensive, the card is very good if you wanted to get him and was willing to put in that amount at that point of the game. Personally, I think it's not necessarily the massive amount of expense he was, but more the fact that at the time that he was kind of came around, we had so many SBCs, icons, players, the World Cup was just around the corner. Nobody or very few people wanted to risk doing so much on this card and miss out on anybody else that was to follow, which, to be honest, you didn't really miss out too much, maybe an icon pack here or there, depending on how quick you got your club back up, but a phenomenal card nonetheless. A very good 4-star, 5-star, if you manage to complete him in that time. Then we go on to Jamie Vardy, who again, very much like a lot of these strikers, pace is good, shooting's good, dribbling wise, very good. Obviously, the agility balance could do with a little bit more work, but an engine is more than capable. Little bit on the strength, nothing too crazy. Mainly comes in better with that aggression. Giant throw-in, team player, and outside of the foot as the traits as well. I think just a solid, efficient player. He does not necessarily play as well as what the card states, but still will be very good for the price that you can get him. I feel like not necessarily top Prem strikers, but at least one that you could get like a Dan James, who will do a job for you. Onto a brand new card today, and that is Nketiah, a future star Arsenal striker who, again, you kind of see ups and downs with him. One moment he's scoring, the next he's missing open goals. It just is what it is with him. But the big thing is not necessarily with this card, because I absolutely love future stars. It's a great promo. Maybe could have missed a year just purely for the fact that I feel like there is still top-end future stars, but I feel like they definitely could do with just a break from it and bring it back stronger. Just do it every 2 years potentially and get a update on a lot more of the better players that can be a full proper future star team, which I do understand, because obviously you've got to have, even in every promo, you've got to have, say, your top 4 and a push top 1 or 2 being 2 million coin cards. Then you've got to have a few that are 100 to 500, maybe even a cheeky 600 in there, and you've still got to have that bottom set of 4 to 5 that are 10 to 50k at a max, because personally a promo doesn't run off big cards in every single one. It just doesn't work like that. You would never pack them. It just happens to be you have to have them lesser important players. But in terms of this card, it's not necessarily even the fact that it doesn't deserve it or does deserve it, either or. The composure is shocking still. We saw it on Alvarez, Mudryk and Enzo. The top of future stars, no problem. You go down the list, you go to mid-tier, you go to bottom tier, there is a lot of them that got your 98 acceleration, got your 99 head and accuracy, but composure, the one stat we don't upgrade or can't upgrade, 80. Brilliant. It's not going to overtake anybody. I would much rather go and get a Jamie Vardy who's been out for a fair few weeks now, and he's got 90 composure, a plus 10 difference with very little difference. Everything about him is very similar, other than maybe, yes, the 98 acceleration compared to 91. He doesn't have 99 head and accuracy and jumping, but I feel like the composure's worth it. Coming in with, what, a 4-star compared to a 4-star 3-star, it's where they drop the ball, in my opinion, with these cards. The composure is a big stat when it comes to the end product, and to not have a minus 10 compared to somebody you can go buy very cheaply, to be honest, it just makes me not want to play with him. And that, unfortunately, is down to the upgrades. If we just knock a bit of acceleration off him, knock a bit of jumping, I get the whole purpose of this upgrade is to be like, wow, he's got 98 and 99 stats, but let's just brush over the 80 composure. It just is what it is, but unfortunately, that is where a lot of these future stars do boil over to. And normally it's the player traits as well. Some already have them, which is nice that they're seeing a progression into silver cards having traits, but it would be nice if we got more of an upgrade onto their future stars where they look like they're gaining. Is he showing signs that maybe a finesse shot would be the thing that he goes for? Does he use an outside of the foot a little bit more now in this season? The attention to detail is important, basically. Then we move on to Richarlison, an SBC, a Brazilian strike if you manage to do him. Obviously doesn't, well, you can't get him now, basically, until we get SBC Central, or obviously one of them, kind of, what are they called? Party bags, which basically has moments, flashbacks, all of that jazz in it. Then obviously you could get him for a lot cheaper than what he actually was. In terms of stats, pretty solid. Again, very much no different to a lot of these strikers. We've got pace is solid, finishing wise could do with a bit of an upgrade, but again, +9 being up to max, it's going to be very, very little differences there. Composure's good, balance could do with some work, strength and aggression coming in quite nice. Again, very, very similar to a lot of these cards, and I think that is where personally you can kind of look throughout the whole comparison and realize how similar a lot of these cards are, and it mainly comes down to work rate, body type, how you play as well is an absolute gem of a piece of information. If you know that you need a striker that can't hold the ball up because you don't play to the feet, pass and move, you need a player that goes in and behind, that is half the problem solved. Don't go and buy Giroud, it isn't going to work. You don't go and buy somebody like an Ivan Toney if he was to get an upgrade, because it wouldn't work that way. If you are somebody who needs a little bit of strength going through, maybe you're finding that your Salah, your Mane is getting pushed off the ball a little bit too much, you maybe need a gold Haaland, an inform Haaland, somebody with a bit more strength and a bit more pace on him, and you learn how to play with them that way. Richarlison's very similar. I feel like he's kind of a pick up and play sort of striker, but again does need a little bit of work as well, where I think you could definitely get the best out of him. And as we go into the next player, Ronaldo has currently just got another 91 for his new club as an inform. That card I believe is about the same sort of ratings across the board, nothing too different between them. It's coming in at 370 already, which is just crazy. You get a minus, what do you get? So you get an extra 4 shooting on that version, and you lose out on 4 dribbling, physical and defending. So the pace is exactly the same, skill move, weak foot exactly the same, but he isn't Prem. So obviously this version is the last Prem Ronaldo version we're going to get. I don't feel like we'll get any other version other than that, as now he is a Saudi player. Maybe a team of the season in his order, but we will see how that goes. I pretty much guarantee he gets a team of the season, even if he only scored 1 goal. We know they like to sell packs, and a juiced up Ronaldo will always sell packs. And I think this version is now slightly coming to an end, to be honest. Being 620k still, I feel like that is heavily more demand, and the fact there's no supply rather than him actually being incredible at the game. I would probably just go for a Vardy version and save yourself about 550,000 coins. Then we have a Aubameyang at a 4-star, who I personally have always rated. High-low work rates, which is always perfect. 6'2", so a good height. We are looking for that engine if possible. Obviously, 93 finishing, 94 position, and 88 shot power is going to give him enough to go through. Obviously, the composure's good. Pace is always fantastic with him. I don't see where this guy's changed. He's still very good in the game. Yes, I would like to see an upgraded version now. Whether that's really going to happen is pretty much very unlikely unless we got an outer performance-based one, which is pretty much what the knockouts is going to be. But in terms of what the card is, finesse, solid player, and obviously outside of the foot, again, 3 great traits for a striker. Flair is the only one missing there, and I think he's worth absolutely every penny. The fact that this card came out so early on and managed to get to a 91 very early on compared to most, still a top 5 striker in the Prem for me. Then we move over to outer position Salah. Very much like a Rashford and Son. Personally, the opposite for me for Salah. I always prefer him on the wing. Yes, the team of the season version, because normally being 97, 8, 9, is always top end, because 98, 99 rated, you'd expect most stats to be in the 99s. That is just how it works. So it almost makes him just impossible to find the position. You could put him left wing, centre forward, cam, striker, right wing, and he would be as good anywhere because the stats are 99. Very little to work with there. The only thing that you've got to worry about is being bodied. He's not going to have 99 strength by the end of it, but most definitely this card still comes in at a good value, but right wing is more orientated for him. Then we have Alvarez, and remember what I said about Nketiah? 4-star, 5-star, high, 5'8", great agility balance, 90 composure. It's just mental that it is only a hand-selected few that get the whole upgrade. And I don't know if that is personally so they know that these 3 are going to be million coin cards, these are going to be sub 250. And that's just how it's made. Obviously with Alvarez, very, very bright future for him if he does continue the way he is. Obviously, could do with a bit more game time. Haaland is taking a lot of the light, but he still has a lot to prove, which could be over the next season or two, and really could be seeing maybe a team of the season Alvarez as the years go on. But a fantastic card this is. The pace is brilliant from him. 5'8" means he does have great agility balance, turns on an absolute swivel, very, very quick with the ball. Obviously has the 4-star, 5-star as well, always perfect. Passing's pretty good, bit of aggression, obviously good stamina. Just a beautiful striker. He's in a category of some of the best strikers. I'd say if I was thinking of all of the icons as well as all of the team of the years, he's got to be in now. I'd say you've got the 3 strikers. You've got, say, at least 5 to 6 top end striker icons. He's probably, I'd say, without really doing the names, top 15 strikers in the game, I'd say. If it's not top 15 and I'm missing some people, 100% top 20 in the entirety of the game. Like 100%. Then we have Harry Kane. Again, very interesting with this one because I feel like coming in at 330, 3-star, 5-star, obviously the weak foot's very good, 6'2" as well, high work rates. Pace has been upgraded a little bit, finishing's practically there, we don't need any upgrade on his shooting. Passing wise, again, very, very solid. Dribbling, great composure. Agility balance could do with an engine, which I think does make the card actually very viable. 91 pace, I believe you get 5 pace from an engine, could be 4, but 91 is still very, very nice for a Harry Kane. We've got leadership and outside of the foot on him. I think when we get the team of the season, it's got to be just Harry Kane all over again. Very much like kind of like a Son. When it gets to the end of the game, that's when really you start to see these top-end cards that maybe don't get the love. The Lewandowskis, it normally was the Benzemas, the Kanes. They don't get no love throughout the whole of the game. Bang, 98 Harry Kane, team of the season lands on your door. You're giving him a go. And normally, he's pretty good. And finally, we have got team of the year, Haaland. Very, very little to say against this guy. 6'5", high medium left foot. What was that? 4-star, 4-star. Genuinely is just incredible. You're very, very rarely going to find much better than the team of the year strikers. Benzema still holds a top-end striker, so there's no disrespect to that name. But R9, Mbappe, Haaland. That's the argument. Incredible card. Just, if you've ever got the chance to do a draft, get the loan version if you managed. Give him a go and let me know what you think about him, because he is top 1 striker in the Prem without a shadow of a doubt. Hopefully we do get a couple more upgrades for him, as personally I would like to get a version of a 94, 93 Haaland, but unfortunately the team of the year is out of packs now, and really he's definitely getting a team of the season, that's for sure, but the only chance to get a team of the year Haaland will now be in the later stages of obviously footies, when they bring everything back into packs. And that's going to be the list. So let me know down below your top 3 strikers in Prem at this moment in time. Haaland, Alvarez, and I'd probably go for cheapness, I'd go Jamie Vardy. Let me know what you think. Take care. Peace.